Growing up, it felt like every adult in our lives was part of some secret conspiracy. They'd hype us up with all these big promises about adulthood being this incredible, magical experience. Spoiler alert, they lied. Whether it was teachers, parents, or those feel-good movies about following your dreams, they sold us a fantasy. And now that we're here, it's nothing like they said it would be. So today, we're unpacking the biggest lies that we were fed about growing up, and trust me, some of these will hit way too close to home. The first lie is that you can be anything you want. This is the OG lie they start telling you in kindergarten. Your teacher stands in front of the class like, you guys can be anything you want when you grow up. Astronaut? Sure. President? Of course. As kids, we took this to heart. I mean, I spent years thinking I was going to be a spy, like a literal secret agent. I even practiced sneaking around my house like I was in Mission Impossible. Turns out the real Mission Impossible is affording rent. What they didn't tell us is that being anything you want comes with a laundry list of conditions, like be anything you want as long as you're insanely talented, lucky, well-connected, and preferably born into a rich family. And if your dream is remotely artistic, good luck explaining that to your parents. Oh, you want to be an artist? Cool. So how are you gonna pay bills with that? It's like, thanks for the support. Growing up is coming to terms with the fact that you can do anything you want, but based on your conditions. You can eat whatever food you want if it's within your budget. You can live in whatever house that you want if it's in your budget. You get where I'm going with this. The second lie that we were told is that adults have everything figured out. Now, this wasn't expressly told to us, but this one kind of hits the hardest. As kids, we genuinely thought adults knew everything, like they were walking encyclopedias, always paying bills on time, fixing stuff around the house, and making life look so put together. Meanwhile, now that we're adults, we're out here Googling how to boil water and crying because the Wi-Fi went out. The truth is, most adults are just winging it. A lot of people that may seem like they have their stuff together absolutely do not, and vice versa. A lot of people who are freaking out about their life are probably much better off than they may think. The older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing that life is pretty much anarchy. The level of put-togetherness we saw from adults when we were younger was mostly because they had made the right choices, and they're obviously acting, but I've heard from a lot of people that once you have children, you will get your shit together because you have to. This might be bad advice, but the logic makes sense to me. I heard somewhere that if you have kids very young, you will be kind of forced to make things work. You'll find a way to make money because your child's life and well-being depends on it. Failure is no longer an option. I'm not gonna take this advice. I'm gonna wait to have kids. Number 3, we have college is the key to success. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks that college is a scam.
There's kids in here who don't learn like that.
Bye.
They need to learn face to face. You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious and you're choosing.
You're wasting my time.
No, I'm not wasting your time.
But I think the whole promise of college, just go to college and you'll have a great job waiting for you. No, college is not the golden ticket that they made it out to be. For most people, it was 4 years of stress, partying, overpriced textbooks, and ramen noodles. You've got people graduating with degrees in philosophy, working at Starbucks, and trying to figure out how to pay back that $50,000. Meanwhile, your high school buddy who skipped college and started a landscaping business is out here making 6 figures, driving a truck and living stress-free. Like, what did I even pay for? All right, I'm learning how to write research papers that nobody will ever read. The most insane way I've ever seen a narrative get flipped on its head is the people that once told me YouTube is not a real job and there's no stability to it are now struggling to find a job with a college education. Like, this isn't an I told you so moment.
I just told you.
But it's just to highlight that a lot of the promises that were being made about college were certainly not true. All right, number 4 is work hard and you'll succeed. Here's a classic. If you just work hard enough, you'll achieve your dreams. This one hurts because it sounds so wholesome, but it's also complete BS. We've all seen people who work their asses off but still struggle to get ahead. Meanwhile, you got some influencer on TikTok making millions dancing in front of a ring light. Hard work is great, don't get me wrong, but let's not pretend that it's the only thing that matters. Success is like one of those claw machines at an arcade. You can spend all your money and energy trying to grab the prize, and half the time it slips out of your grasp. Meanwhile, someone else walks up, gives it one shot, and gets the jackpot. It's frustrating, but that's life. The day I learned this was a lie was when I saw a kid on Twitter post a screenshot of a crypto meme coin trade that he did, where he had turned $100 into $1 million. So if you think clicking a few buttons on your computer is hard work and making $1 million as a 17-year-old or something like that, that in 30 minutes is hard work, I certainly have some words for you. All right, next up we have adulthood means freedom. As kids, adulthood sounded like paradise. You can stay up as late as you want, eat ice cream for dinner, and do whatever you want. Technically, that is true, but at 3 a.m., you should not be wondering why your stomach hates you. The point is, the so-called freedom of adulthood comes with strings attached. Sure, you can stay up all night, binge watching Netflix, but good luck functioning the next day at work. And yeah, you can do whatever you want, as long as you can afford it. Turns out, freedom is just another word for you're responsible for everything now. All the freedom that you've now acquired as an adult has equal and opposite consequences that have scaled. Now that I think about it, I don't know if this one's really a lie, but I think that we just got it twisted when we were younger. We just assumed that freedom was universally good and being able to do whatever you want was a good thing. Like, I feel like a lot of the time adults are their own worst enemies. You know, being able to do whatever you want is kind of not a good thing in a lot of cases. Being able to waltz into a liquor store at 10 a.m. may not be the greatest thing. All right, next one is that you'll stop caring what people think. You know, they told us when you grow up, you won't care what people think anymore. That's lies, absolute lies. If anything, adulthood just changes what you're self-conscious about. As a kid, you cared about fitting in with your classmates. As an adult, you're overanalyzing texts, stressing about what to wear to a job interview, carefully curating your Instagram feed so it looks like you're thriving. Spoiler, nobody's thriving. We're all just pretending. If anything, I care more about what people think now than I ever did when I was a kid. The stakes are a lot higher now, and, you know, there's actually a chance that you will become a failure. You can't become a failure when you're a kid. When you fail at something as a kid, that's just a learning opportunity. When you fail at something when you're an adult, I mean, I think a good way to look at it is a learning opportunity, but the reality is, the expectation is that you have things sorted out to a certain extent, and so when you don't, people will judge you. The only difference is, in middle school, you got judged for wearing Skechers, and as an adult, you get judged for driving a used car. I kind of touched on this one earlier, but the next one is that stability comes with age. This one might be the biggest scam of them all. Growing up, we thought like adulthood meant stability. You hit a certain age and everything would just fall into place. Job, check. House, check. White picket fence, check. But in reality, adulthood is just like a never-ending hamster wheel. Your car breaks down, your rent goes up, inflation is through the roof, you can't afford groceries. It is definitely tough. Stability is something you have to be constantly working for, and even then it feels like one wrong move could send everything crashing down. Next up is that you'll finally feel grown up. I feel like there was this idea that there's a magical moment where you're gonna feel like a real adult. Maybe it would happen when we got our first job, paid our first bill, moved out of our parents' house, but here's the thing, that moment never comes. Even if you have a job, a house, and a savings account, you still feel like a kid pretending to be an adult. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be responsible, but I still panic when I see an unknown number calling me. All right, next up, the friends you make in school will be your friends for life. Yeah, about that. Fast forward a few years and you're realizing most of your childhood friends are now just names on your social media feed. The truth is, friendships take work, and once you're an adult, everyone's busy with their own lives, jobs, families, endless responsibilities that you kind of stop caring about each other. It sounds grim, but it's just hard to find time to hang out when you're all juggling a million things. Adult friendships are less about constant contact and more about sending random memes at 2 a.m. to remind each other you're still alive. So yeah, growing up was basically one big bait and switch. They made it sound like adulthood was going to be amazing, but it's mostly just money struggles, Googling how to make rice at midnight. But hey, you know, at least we can laugh about it, right? Anyway, let me know down in the comments which lie hit you the hardest, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, see you guys all later. Peace.